broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hey, this is Mark Sisson from marksdailyapple.com. And if you want some of the most cutting edge and empowering health information online, go where I go, to Justin and Kate at ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Here we are again, Miss Baby Kate, as your new name is called.
Miss Baby Kate.
Miss Baby Kate.
Well, that's a good one.
Mrs.
That's
Baby.
a fresh spin on my nickname.
You like that?
Miss Baby Kate. I'll take it.
We'll take it.
I don't remember the first person who called me that.
It was Jules from the gym.
No, it wasn't. I think it was my friend Erin that I worked with at the old surf shop.
Oh, really?
I think it was right after high school, started calling me Baby Katie.
Really?
Yeah.
Baby Katie?
And then it evolved to Baby Kate from our good friend Jules at our gym.
You don't like the name Katie, do you?
No.
It's too like a little girl?
I like it, but that's what I was called my whole life, so it's just it's great. My parents still call me that, and my grandparents and people who have been around, but when new people, I'll introduce myself as Kate, and then like an hour later they're calling me Katie. I'm like, how did that happen? How did that crossover?
Kate, and now you're calling me Katie. Like
I think it's kind of weird.
Yeah, Kate is a strong name. I like that.
Thank you. I like the name Katie too, but that's been my whole life, and I feel more. My God-given name is just Kate, so I don't know
Kate
why.
is I don't know. I like that name. It's very strong. It's very direct.
Well, I am a direct, strong person. Very fitting.
Yeah.
You know what? But I have to say, I feel like I'm growing into that name.
Yeah, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't
I'm
you?
becoming more strong and direct as I get older. I used to be a wallflower, kind of wimpy little,
kind of easily bowled over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very faint of a person.
Maybe that's why people call you that, because they want you to continue to be that. Because Katie is a softer name. Katie is more of a name where people, it's like a little girl kind of thing. And
it's more endearing.
More endearing. And so maybe people like that version of you. And so they keep calling you that.
Well, it's sweet, but yeah. It's interesting. It's hard for my parents to make the crossover, though. I'm like, you named me Kate. How's this hard for you guys?
I know, right?
Speaking of the name thing, you brought up a really interesting point this week.
Uh-oh, did I?
Our good friend Christy, who, when she was growing up, all her friends and stuff, I mean, people that were mean at school called her Crusty, which she hated, of course. Who would want to be called Crusty?
As a little kid on a playground, I mean...
Crusty, as a little girl, yeah. She's the cutest little thing ever, blonde, blue-eyed, whatever. Yeah. Not blue eyes, she's green eyes.
Oh, is she?
Either way, you said the other day, because she's actually struggling with arthritis, with rheumatoid arthritis, and you said, I wonder if there's some energetic connection there, between like kind of crusty, brittle, crunchy kind of I have no idea. You just brought it up, and I thought that was really interesting. You wonder if that kind of stuff sticks with you, like me being called Baby Kate or Baby Katie. Like if I've kind of stayed in that baby state because it's comforting. It's that's all I'll ever amount to. Kind of keeps you down.
Yeah, it keeps you from growing into the person you're supposed to become.
On a very probably low level, because I would never think that could affect me, but. I wonder if that kind of stuff affected Christy. I mean,
I know, crusty, because that's like, that goes right along the side, or right along with arthritis, and you essentially become brittle and stiff and crusty.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, and so it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do our names really have an effect on our physiology on an energetic level? Do our names say something about who we are? Are we our names? Is that even something that's applicable, or is a name just a title that's given to our bodies, which we are just basically renting out anyway? So, but I don't know. I mean, if the name is attached to the body, which it is because our soul doesn't have a name, then I guess it could apply to physical diseases, because there's this whole thing with with how people do what do you call it? The time, like astrology with the time that you were born.
Oh, numerology.
Numerology and the exact moment, the exact day that you were born, and that all has an effect on you. And if that's true, which I don't know if it is or not, but if that's true, then it wouldn't be any more of a stretch to think that your name somehow has an effect on you.
Interesting.
You know?
Wow.
You know how in the Bible they wouldn't even name children until a long time after the child was born, because they wanted to pick a name that was fitting with the child's personality. So there would be times where the baby would be 1 year old, and then they would name it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When did that stop? Because now, I mean, of course, with hospital births and stuff, like, they won't let you leave. I don't think they'll let you leave a hospital without naming your baby, will they?
No, because the name is tied to the birth, to the birth of the vessel, you know?
Huh.
So you have to have the name. That's why all boats are named, because we're just our body is like a vessel that's floating in the sea of space. And so when the vessel is birthed into existence, that's why they measure you and they weigh you, because they need to know the exact proportions and dimensions of the vessel. And so that's why they name you.
Did you learn this on the Creditors and Commerce stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's why anytime someone asks what your name is, that's a deep and profound study that someone could study for years about what your name is, and if a police officer, because essentially they're trying to attach a private entity to a public entity, and so they need a name to do that. So when they say Kate, are you Kate Stellman, and you answer in the affirmative, then you've just started a contract with them. And so if they can attach your name to the document that is your birth certificate or whatever,
Social Security, all that,
Social Security, then that's where all the control starts at that time. And so which is so weird in the biblical times that they would not even name a child for a long time,
right?
You know, weird, huh?
I really always liked that idea of kind of waiting to see what the baby would be like before you pick a name. Don't you?
Yeah, I think that's cool.
But I also think there's the whole, you pick a baby's name and they kind of morph into that, and they obviously start fitting and growing into that name too. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I like the idea of kind of hanging out with the little person to see what they look like and what they kind of evolve into. I mean, I don't know if I'd wait a year to name my kid, but it does seem really... no, I don't think so.
What do you think about soul contracts? What do you think about that stuff?
What do I think about soul contracts?
Like, you know how people will say that there's a contract people make before coming into this world to live certain lives and to... So if
you're speculating that if reincarnation were true, that you come back with a group of people that you have a contract with in order to carry out things in this life, to be able to propel yourself, to learn lessons and move forward and... Yeah,
people talk about that in the circles of where they assume that reincarnation is true. They'll talk about how people will have soul contracts, and what they'll do is they'll decide who their mother and father is going to be, which sounds ridiculous, but they'll decide who their mother and father is going to be. They'll decide what kind of life they're going to live, what kind of lessons that they need to learn during this life. And so if that's true, which I don't know if it is or not, but if it were true, then... I wonder if your name, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if your name would play a role into that. So if your name would be indicative upon the person that you came in to contract to be in this life, or if you would live up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting.
Or maybe if that were the case, maybe if Kate meant strong, assertive woman, you know what I mean?
I like where you're going with that. Yeah.
Maybe that's what you came into like that's your soul contract, and that's what you wanted to come in to, as. And so if you picked your parents,
you probably also picked your name.
You also probably picked your name. You'd put that. I don't know. I mean,
I wondered about that. I've thought about that before. I wonder if that's true, that we do pick our life situation and our parents and where we came in and what country we live, all that stuff. Yeah. Did we pick the name that goes along with us to represent us in this rented body, like you said?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird.
I always wonder too if if that is what's really going on, because who knows? I think there's good arguments and things on both sides,
Right.
But if reincarnation is really happening, do you get to pick your time of death and how you die? Because if you make if you contract and come back in and live the life and learn the lessons you want, but like when it comes to death, are you picking it before you even reincarnate? I'm going to die this way and not learn this lesson, or I'm going to attempt to overcome this addiction, but I don't know how it's going to end. I might get taken out by alcohol, I might not, but coming back to try to learn to overcome addiction. I mean, or are you saying, okay, I'm going to come in and, for example, learn to overcome addiction, but I'm not going to make it past 47. I mean, is there a definite thing that you come in with? Do you come in with somewhat of a free will after you're here, or
do you know that you're going to attempt to overcome an addiction to alcohol or any kind of addiction, and you know that you're not going to be successful? But then why would you, if that work, I love doing this. I love like picking an idea like this and just thinking about all of it and
just picking it apart. I know, it's fascinating.
Because why would you, if it was your sole contract, if you knew I'm going to come into this life to overcome an addiction, then why would you come into this life knowing or not knowing that you would not overcome that addiction? So you know how sometimes people will commit suicide because they can't overcome their addictions.
Right.
So why would you
pick that body
and
that experience?
But I guess it's like a long time ago when I was really into studying theology and stuff like that, people would talk about, well, why did God create the earth when he knows all these people are going to go to hell, and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, I love that subject.
Oh,
you go round and round and round and round in circles with people.
This is when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But one philosopher was saying that, there could be an umpteen number of billions and billions of options of worlds that God could have created. Mm-hmm. And this just happens to be the one that the least amount of people go to hell. Now, I still have a problem with that. I've kind of
So that was actually a theological stance that people took?
A philosophical stance.
Philosophical.
Yeah, saying that there's an umpteen amount of different worlds or scenarios of worlds that God could have created. And in this particular one, the least amount of people did go to hell. But that presupposes that God couldn't have created a different world.
Wow.
And I don't know. I'm not sure too sold on the idea of hell anymore, but you know what I mean? It's, and so why would someone's soul contract come into this world if reincarnation is true? I mean, I guess they could have come into this world knowing they would have failed at overcoming an addiction if they, since they're only human.
I've yet to read on, because this subject is really fascinating to me, because growing up in a Christian home, reincarnation is something that's totally poo-pooed and people really roll their eyes or they think it's just insanity, Right. But I found these books online that I'm really excited to read about how maybe in Christianity you can kind of explore that and see maybe where certain verses might even give you some freedom to think that there might be more going on than the way that we think it's all going down. But I'm open to exploring that. I don't know. I don't know what my stance is, but from what I have read so far, I'm thinking, why does no one ever cover these? In the books that I've happened to read or the things online, no one's ever talked about if you pick your moment of death. Or
do you remember what those books are off the top of your head?
Let's see. Hold on. There's one here on my Amazon wish list. Let me get to it real quick. Because there's this one that looks so good, and let me see. Hold up here. I'm going to look for it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think this idea that I have no idea. I find it fascinating. We were talking about this earlier. Just really interesting how people that have it all figured out, I feel like they just really kind of rub me the wrong way.
I know.
They rub both of us the wrong way, because how do you really know what's actually going on? Like we talked about with one of our guests, how we only know about 1% of what's going on in the human body. And so
I know.
If we only know 1% of what's going on in the human body, how do we know what's going on in the universe? And have it all figured out. And
hold on. Reincarnation in Christianity, a new vision of the role of rebirth in Christian thought. From Quest Books by Geddes McGregor. I've looked into it. It looks really amazing.
So you don't have it yet?
No,
You want to buy
it? In fact, it's on my wish list for Christmas.
It's on your wish list.
Hint, hint.
Nice.
Yeah, I want a book on Christian reincarnation thought for Christmas.
Well, there's that one verse that says,
I knew you before...
before I created you in the womb, I knew you, or something like that.
Who knows, right?
I know.
Who knows?
Yeah, I know that there's so much to know that I don't know much of anything in terms of what's really going on. And all I can do and all we can do is speculate and talk through things, try to figure it out. But at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot of ability for us to know unless you have some psychedelic experience, or you go like Anita Moorjani, where you die and go to heaven. But then, how do you even know if that's true? I mean, I guess with Anita Moorjani, they did have her death record, or they did have her, all her vital signs and all that stuff was all documented too. But I mean, I would be, it's so hard because unless it happens to you, and even if it does happen to you, how do you know that that's not some trance-like dream that you created in your mind, just like a dream?
Well, here's the thing. I see what happens to me when I peace out on that biomat back there, or when we're in the flotation tanks. There are these situations where I can't tell what's real. I know I'm not close to having a near-death experience or anything like that, but it becomes so muddled from reality that I don't know. So imagine what's going on when you're actually, maybe even morphined up or in a hospital situation. Or you're just delusional, or something's just, or you're so high with a fever. I mean, you don't know what happens in your brain.
You could go delusional.
I don't know.
These people that die and come back to life, and
back to heaven.
Come back to heaven. Maybe they're having some sort of chemically induced reaction in their brain that's been, is caused by this medication they're on, and they're starting to see visions and things, and.
I know.
But then again, on the other side, who's to say that stuff is not just as real, like the dream state? A lot of people talk about that, where
the reality is the dream.
We're living a dream now, like we're in a dream, like the Matrix. But the real non-dream state is when you are actually sleeping and dreaming.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh,
who's to say that that's not real? And how do we even know
this
that...
goes so many levels of deepness here.
How do I even know that I didn't just wake up this morning with, starting a brand new life?
Well, that's a weird
with
thought. With
pre-programmed thoughts, of what I used to do in the past. I don't know.
Huh.
How do I really know that? I woke up this morning. I was 8 hours, I don't know where I was.
Yeah.
Doing God knows what.
Hopefully something fun.
Yeah.
You're like ODing on dairy cheesecake.
Just all day long.
Things you never get to do in real life.
But how do I know that I didn't just wake up and start a brand new life, and with pre-programmed thoughts that were put in there by God, the universe, or anything else? I don't know. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, it's so weird.
My gosh. It'd be trippy is to wake up and know that and decide not to give into it.
What do you mean?
Or how should I say this? Or to wake up and have that known to you, and you go with it. How about that? So you wake up and you're like, okay, I've been pre-programmed. This is all whatever. Sure, I'm going to go with it. And you become a completely different person that day.
Oh, wow.
Say we were married and I was like, why are you acting like this? Or why all of a sudden do you have an interest in handguns? And, why you have all this stuff that you've never been before? I mean, that would be weird. And you're like, oh, I'm rolling with it because it's what I feel like today. It's who I know I am today.
Wow.
That'd be weird if somebody, because about people just changing and stuff, but it's like,
yeah.
What if there really are some personality just switches where you were kind of downloaded a different program overnight?
I think that's what psychedelics do, or drugs can do, is they can they can switch on different personality traits that perhaps are lying dormant in your life. And so maybe they're not even dormant. Maybe they're coming from, if reincarnation is true, of some sort of past existence where you had this existence as a person in the 1800s who just loved guns.
Yeah,
right. And maybe that's where that comes from. If you take a drug of some kind, it just sort of switches that gene on and brings that that whole thing to the surface. And maybe you.
Everyone I've ever known that's died from a drug overdose or something, I feel like it's, they try it and they get addicted, but I feel like I could be wrong, but what I've seen is with each path where they go down farther and farther into the drug route, I feel like more and more of their demons and shadow sides come up.
Oh, is the deeper they go in?
I really do. I mean, I think there's a chemical thing for sure. No doubt with drugs, altering your brain and things like that. Like, I'm talking bad drugs, things that really mess with you. But I almost think it's just opening these gateways to whether it's old memories or whether it's just your dark side, or things that maybe you were aware of that you came to overcome and you just blew it and then they take over. I don't know. But
yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
The spiral. Oh, it's weird.
What's also so weird too is that that whole thing where they do organ transplants and they
oh my gosh, and all of a sudden the person loves to eat.
Yeah, or they have some
something.
Memory of a past life, or they have some new talent or skill. Gosh, there was something that happened just recently. They call it my gosh, it's coming. What is it? It's like a neurological disorder that comes on in an instant, almost like through an accident. And so I forget what the name of it is called, but if someone has like a head trauma, then all of a sudden they're like able to do the most extraordinary things, like play Bach on the piano and write just close their eyes and write, draw a map of Europe with all the borders and to scale of how everything looks and where all the countries are. And they're just able to do these things all of a sudden after being in head trauma. I forget what it's called, but it's like, where did that stuff come from? You know what I mean? It's like, sure, at some point in that person's life, they saw a picture of a map of Europe, and we've all seen maps of the whole Earth. But if we really do store everything that we see and hear and taste, touch and smell, if all that stuff gets stored in our psyche somewhere, then isn't it weird that someone could have a head trauma and then be able to switch that thing on and be able to do that kind of stuff? Where does that Bach being able to play on the piano, where does that come from?
I'm sure that trips family members out of this person so much.
Oh my gosh.
Because you've known this person your whole life and you're thinking, how did this person either come out of a coma or have, some sort of trauma and then have these amazing talents? I know what you mean. I've heard of it before. I don't know what it's called, but
I think it's like, is it called idiot savant?
Oh, I think that's right.
Is that what
right?
It's called?
I think you're right.
But is that IDIOT?
Yeah, we know that. Remember we looked that up one time when we heard it on TV?
But it's is a person considered to be mentally handicapped but displays brilliance in a specific area, especially in one involving memory. But this isn't indicative of like how someone becomes this
after a turn of events.
Yeah, they're just a normal guy walking down the street, and then all of a sudden they become this.
Huh.
But yeah, I mean,
it's true with organ transplants too. I know what you're talking about, because all of a sudden some guy will get a heart transplant and then be able to go out and play football and do things like become a football star. Yeah, he never had one like 50. He never had a lick of talent. He couldn't even run before or something crazy like that.
Or it's like he's able to play poker and at the highest level and understand all the nuances but it's or learn a language or
have a love for certain things like
Yeah, certain foods people have that with.
Yeah, all of a sudden you want corn on the cob all day long and you don't know why.
I mean,
because you got a new kidney or something.
That is so strange. That is so weird, because is that happening in the body no matter what kind of surgery you get? Because we typically hear that when people get like a heart transplant. Mm-hmm. But, I have a torn ACL, or my body used to have a torn ACL back, 5 years ago. And they wanted to do a cadaver implant from a cadaver of a healthy ACL. And I wanted to do that, or they wanted to do that, but I wanted to do my own hamstring.
Right.
Because it's my own genetic DNA. Yeah. But the reason why I didn't even want to do that is because they screw bolts into your knee with metal. And anytime you have some foreign object in your body like that, your body's going to have this low-level immune response for the rest of your life, constantly working and unable to use its resources on real things like colds and diseases and things.
Right, which is the same with our root canal situations and our teeth, our cavitations.
Exactly.
Right.
So I didn't want that, so I decided to do prolotherapy. I'm doing some other things. But, if someone gets a transplant of a heart, that makes a lot of sense that they would have these feelings. But really, scientifically, the heart is nothing more than a pump as far as what mainstream science says.
Right.
So that should be weird enough, but I wonder if energetic things get transferred with just like an ACL. If you get like a new, if you get a new, I don't know, some new body part, like does it come with, I'm sure it would have to.
Well, if everything vibrates at a frequency and carries some sort of emotional and energetic component, it would only make sense to me.
Isn't that weird?
I mean, if everything has an energy to it, I mean, the rocks of the earth, why would not someone's body part have something? That's it's so weird. What's
weird is why in the Bible does it say that Jesus said, cry to the rocks or say to the rocks and they'll cry out.
Yep.
Whatever that was. Like, I mean, is that just a poetic way of saying something that's...
I know.
What do they call it? Anthropomorphic, where you apply human characteristics to non-physical things.
Right. Ooh, good word. How do you say it?
I think it's anthropomorphic.
That's such a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is that a literal thing?
I don't...
Or can rocks cry out, but we just can't hear it yet because we don't have the science to test it?
Well, apparently, plants do.
That's true.
When you cut the whole thing, when you cut a plant, when you cut a leaf off or chop a stem off, you can actually, they've measured the voices of the plant screaming.
Yeah, the electrical energy.
It's so sad.
Yeah, the electrical energy. They've, I recently saw a video about this. They were measuring on, it was on like some mainstream, like the History Channel or something.
Really?
And so people that think, oh, I'm a vegan, I don't hurt or harm anything. There's no way.
You're harming stuff.
When you're breathing air, you're killing microbes. So it's just a matter of how far how much you want to subscribe to the idea that we cannot, to live with not harming anything.
Right. It is some cycle. I mean, something has to die at some point.
Yeah. I mean, each person has to have their own level of comfortableness with what they're willing to kill in order to preserve their own life.
Totally. I remember on Notting Hill, I love that movie with Julia Roberts,
Do you want me to turn the heat off?
Yeah, sure. I'm hot now. I'm sweating over here. It's like being in a sauna without being in a sauna. I remember that part when Hugh Grant is before he dates Julia Roberts, he takes out all these different girls, and there's a girl that comes to dinner, and she's a fruitarian. She doesn't want to eat anything.
On what? What movie is this?
Notting Hill.
Notting
I
Hill?
love
She's
that
a
movie.
fruitarian?
Yeah, and she's like, I'm actually a fruitarian. And they say, and he looks and he's like, so those carrots? And she's like, yes, they have been murdered. And she's all bummed, and she only eats things that fall from the tree and that haven't been picked. Or
yeah, there's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, and I understand that, but at the same time, it's like you're still energetically eating death. That thing had to drop off a tree. At some point, it was alive, and now it's dead.
Right.
So you're still, I mean, something has to die at some point. So, I mean, I get their point that they're not wanting to actually be part of the death process and responsible for that.
Yeah.
But we're all eating dead things. I mean,
Do you think that it's like how far would you subscribe yourself to that? Like, do you think it's going too far? Like, is there an element of truth in, because a lot of Christians, we come out of a really strong Christian background, so we kind of bring this up a lot, but there are a lot of Christians who talk about how, man has dominion over the earth and, we are at the top of the food chain and blah, blah, blah. And so there's an order of hierarchy of the beings that are on the earth, and we're at the top.
Right.
Because we have a soul and a consciousness and all this stuff that they talk about in Christianity. And so, at what point does it take it too far? Like, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense to be a Christian vegan. That would be kind of like a clash of worldviews a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get that.
Because you're kind of putting a lot of emphasis on
more worship of the
plant. Or trying to sustain and keep life, which, I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but strict Christians would say it's all going to burn anyway. Who cares? God gave us the ability to eat animals, and this is what we're supposed to do, and we're at the top of the food chain.
At least certain people we've talked to, not everyone not all Christians think that.
Yeah, right.
Right. Just in our own experiences with certain people.
And so it seems like, I don't know, like how far you can really take that. Like, I'm okay. I don't have any problem eating an animal. But I do have a problem eating no matter what it is if you're not grateful and thankful for it. I
think it all comes back to that. You could eat, well, case in point. We're at Thanksgiving yesterday, and my 91-year-old grandpa is across the table, and his wife is next to me, and we start talking, and she says something about how I made these. I have to say, my mashed potato, sweet potatoes were amazing.
Did you take a picture of it?
You know what? I don't think I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you? We should put it on Instagram.
Yeah, they were amazing, and I was so happy because I'd never made them before, and they were dairy-free. They had coconut milk. Maybe I'll post my recipe to my blog tonight.
Yeah, you should.
I'll do that. Let me write myself a note. Hold on. Blog, sweet potato.
Yeah, there you go.
Because otherwise I'll forget. We talk about so much. But his wife leans over to me and she goes, "Oh, Grandpa loves your sweet potatoes." I'm like, "Thank you." And she goes, "I think he might like them just as much or if not more than McDonald's." And I said, "Oh, is he a big McDonald's fan? Do you guys go like once a week?" And she laughed. She's like, "Once a week? Grandpa has to go every day." And she goes, "He gets the same thing for all these years." I go, "What does he order?" She said he gets a 6-piece chicken McNugget with ranch and barbecue sauce. And the honey, whatever it was, like a sweet honey dip thing.
The honey dip thing.
Those are good, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
From when I was a kid. And then she says, he has that and a giant like blended milkshake thing with chocolate chips or something in it, like a freeze thing.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
a filet-o-fish, she's like, it's 99 cents for seniors. Or she starts telling me this thing, and I guess he's eaten that every day for God knows how long. Every day.
Wow.
That's what they do for lunch. They go to McDonald's.
Did they really?
Every day. And I never known this. And my grandpa's, pretty healthy for 91. And I think his gene pool is just, but it comes down to, he's probably seen a lot, been without food during the Depression, and whatever he has, he's thankful for. And I think it definitely goes back to what you were just saying. And unfortunately, I told you last night, I go, wow, but look how the cycle stops so quick. Not even 2 generations. We're having leaky gut, a bunch of digestive problems. Like,
right.
I'm that kid. It's not like it went 8 generations down before it affected people.
Right.
I think my dad got pretty healthy genes, because he doesn't eat the most healthy, but he's,
he doesn't eat really anything healthy.
Not really. And he's a runner, which makes you wonder. He's run so many marathons. I think he's circumnavigated the earth in miles, a few times?
A couple times, yeah.
But I mean, when you think of all that lactic acid buildup, I don't know. He might not be as, quote, healthy as you think he would be for a big runner and not a great eater. But, that guy's just trucking along. He'll probably live to be older than my grandpa, which is awesome.
Isn't that crazy? So, that's the argument so many people use is, hey, I know this guy. He's 92 and he's been smoking. George Burns has been smoking.
Right.
But these people are living, I think they're living just different lives. Like they're not a product of the generation that we are now.
Mm-mm.
And so you have to really, you can't even compare people like that because, I think the average person or the person of a person that would eat 1 peach in 1952, I think I've read somewhere, would have to eat the equivalent of like 40 or 50 peaches today
to get the nutrients,
the same amount of minerals and vitamins and things. And so the soils are so depleted. So your dad growing up was, or your grandpa was strong genes. Yeah. Eating whole foods.
Drinking whole milk. Even if they had hormones in them, they're not getting this fat-free.
They probably didn't have hormones in them.
They probably didn't.
And yeah, it's just a different world. It's a completely different world. And we can't we've got so many more toxins, EMFs. Your grandpa grew up in the middle of the country with no EMFs and walking around barefoot and drinking clean water and
Also, we have a little picture of him when he was little at like 1.5, 2. He's so cute. He has like a little girl jumper on. It looks like a little, how like they looked more girly, the clothes back in the day with his blonde ringlets, and he's drinking straight out of the garden hose. And you think about how leaded those things were, how much, it just kills you. But this is the grandpa that started at a year old or 1.5 years drinking out of a garden hose. And here he is, 91.
Isn't that wild? Across
the table eating his chicken McNuggets. And
if you could look back, like, would you want to live in a way where you, like, if you eat garbage your whole life, like, someone like your grandpa just eats that way his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And at 9, let's say he lives till he's 95 or 100. And if someone were to come say to you, if you were him and say to you, okay, you're 95 years old, but if you had have taken care of yourself your whole life, you could live another 20 years, but be twice as healthy as you are now and twice as with it and strong and mentally with it and capable. at 95 years old, would you choose to do that? Like go back and relive that and actually take care of yourself? Because a lot of people say, oh, well, he's 95 years old and he ate, fast food his whole life. But what could he have accomplished had he taken care of himself his whole life? We'll never know that.
No.
But,
and I can tell you in my grandpa's case, he would definitely be interested in that because he's so sharp and he's pretty healthy. He doesn't want to die anytime soon.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
There are people who give up and they want to die. Like we have your mom's friend who just is sitting around waiting to die and she's miserable. But if you told someone like my grandpa with his attitude, you could extend your life by 20 years, would you, looking back and doing it different, absolutely he would do it. Like, yeah, he's so cool. He'd be out riding his bike another 20 years. I mean, you're not stopping people like that with that kind of an attitude.
And he wouldn't be in a wheelchair either. He'd be healthy and vibrant and energetic and magnetic. And, it's really interesting. I just think that, why not start now? If you are, relatively healthy, unhealthy, or very healthy, why not start now and start taking care of yourself now?
Right.
Because,
jumpstart.
Yeah.
I got a request in the chat room for me to talk about my update on the healing bone broth I've been doing.
Oh, okay.
And this is interesting. Our friend in the chat says that they too have stopped juicing and smoothies and are trying to be more aware of how they're feeling. And I asked if how they're feeling on that, and they said they feel a bit better as they've stopped juicing for a while too. It's too cold for their gut. And I asked if they were a Vata, and they said, how do you know? They're not sure, although they've been looking into more of the Ayurveda. Do you remember the website to find out the test for Ayurveda type?
Yeah, let me look here. Dosha.
I'll let you do that. But as far as the bone broth, we ran out of the stuff we made and the bone broth we've been buying, which is amazing. If anyone's interested, maybe we'll put a link to the bone broth because they ship it to you. We don't make any money from it. It's just a really great product. And it's only about, what is it made, about 30 minutes from here?
Yeah, it's only just a little bit down south. You know what I'm going to do? It's doshaquiz.chopra.
Oh, nice.
Our good friend Deepak.
Can you post that in the chat? And we'll also post that in the... So basically, I ran out of that stuff for the last 5 days. And tonight I'm going to boil our organic turkey bones and make more.
Yeah.
But I have been feeling the difference.
Have you?
I was talking to you on the walk yesterday. Mm-hmm. I have been doing it for so many weeks straight, every morning and throughout the day. And I know this is probably TMI, way too much information, but I felt like my bowel movements were like slipping right out of me, and not in like a diuretic way. It was just more like everything seemed more coated and easy to go through my intestines. Something about how gelatinous that broth is. It really was helping me. And the minute I run out, I told you yesterday, I'm all bloated. I feel stopped up. It's like nothing's moving like it was.
Yeah, and we were drinking lots of that.
Tons of it, and I think that's the difference.
We'd wake up in the morning, drink some on an empty stomach.
Nice warm bowl, steaming as our tea for the morning.
And then we'd drink it throughout the day, sip on it different amounts. So we'd probably drink, at least 24 ounces of that a day. At least.
So I feel like I can't wait to start it again. I mean, I feel a really big difference, and I also have cut out smoothies. I'm doing one smoothie probably every few days now. And the only cold thing in it is a few frozen blueberries. There's no ice. There's no cold water. It's like a room temp smoothie and now that I'm kind of off the one we're away for a little while because I think my digestion needed a break from that.
Right.
So they're really simple smoothies, and they're more like a frappe. They're more like a mousse with like a little bit of a non-frozen banana and some frozen blueberries and some coconut water and an avocado. Wow. It's like a mousse, and it's just kind of a extra special little treat, but I feel great, and I'm still juicing. I've done a juice every day. I haven't missed that, but I'm not using extremely cold vegetables.
Right.
And I'm not putting ice into it, and I've also cut out a lot of the greens. I'm only doing parsley, celery, and cucumber as my greens.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you, why are you not doing...
Well,
and why is parsley okay?
Well, I don't know, but I feel really good when I keep it simple like that. When I've cut out spinach and romaine and things like that, they are high on the thiols, the high thiol food. Okay. For the sulfur intolerance, so for the undermethylation people.
So romaine is
at least to eat the greens.
Okay.
But I'm not sure about the juicing, but I know that I used to feel so immediately bloated after a lot of greens in my juice.
Isn't that weird?
And now I feel really good. I just feel like it's adding to my life, and it feels really, really mineralizing and very neutral.
Hey, so on your blog, you wrote a post called "Just When My Digestion Was Feeling Great, This Raw Vegan Food Really Messed Me Up."
Oh gosh,
what was that?
I got so excited. I wrote a blog about this. I've been afraid of nuts for my whole life because I have the peanut allergy.
Uh-huh.
But that translated into a very strange mental fear of all nuts, right? So I've just been sticking away from all nuts probably since like 5th grade. I used to eat stuff when I was little, like I'd go to Baskin Robbins and get pecan praline ice cream or, something with nuts in it, pistachios, and I was never afraid of those things.
Yeah.
But something happened in like junior high where I realized I think I became aware of my mortality.
In junior high?
Yeah.
How
I think it's when I first really, really realized that, oh my gosh, I could eat something. It could actually close off my airway. So even though I knew it was just the peanuts, it became a really unhealthy thing in my brain of being afraid of all nuts. So anyway, long story short, fast forward all these years, I was really upset in the kitchen a few weeks ago that I was having to wean myself off of even more foods that I love.
Uh-huh.
And that was the One World Way, what was it? The pumpkin, sweet potato fry. There were certain things that I just feel like aren't resonating for my body at this time. And so I'm like, gosh darn it, I need more foods to eat. I'm not going to stop being afraid. I'm sick of being afraid of these nuts. So I was making you a dessert involving cashew butter, and I just took a big old spoonful of cashew butter and stuck it in my mouth and thought, here I go. I doubt anything's going to happen to me, but it's been so long since I've had nuts. Who knows if I've developed an allergy to them?
Yeah, that was one of your issues because logically you knew that you didn't have an allergy to nuts like you did peanuts. But
well, right. I'm like, how do you make it 36 years old and not know that you're deathly allergic to other nuts? I mean,
but you were wondering if you could have developed a new allergy.
Right. Talk about crazy.
About fear, huh?
But that's my brain. I mean, that's the stuff I'm having to reprogram myself out of.
So at the end of this thing, I'm going to read a little chapter out of this book I'm reading called Motivation Manifesto.
Oh, please.
By Brendan Burchard and the whole thing is on fear.
Nice.
And it might be a little bit long, but man, is it good. So maybe we'll close out the show with that or something like that.
Okay, yeah, could you?
It's really good, yeah.
That whenever you read me little excerpts from it, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's super good.
So well written too.
So
I overcame, I realized how much my world opened up basically after that spoonful of cashew butter. So I went a little crazy last week. I went and got this raw vegan cheesecake from the health food store.
Uh-huh.
Was it called Earth Bliss or
Earth Cafe?
Earth Cafe. Oh my gosh, and they make the best.
It's actually
vegan
linked.
Raw cheesecake.
It's linked in your article post.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. But I got so excited about being able to eat these new foods because of old foods that I've cut out that I had one every day for like 7 days. And let me tell you, I started feeling horrible again.
Wow.
My digestion started having problems. I wasn't doing the bone broth at the same time.
But no allergies, right? Obviously
no allergies, but I felt like I had a hard bloated stomach.
Wow.
So I cut those out again, and I'm starting to get back to my new old norm, which was good.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I kind of OD'd on the nuts there for a week.
Yeah, I want to go and get some more bone broth or make some.
Yeah, we'll get some today.
It's really
and make some.
Really, really, I find it just the thought of warm bone broth to me makes me feel like this is what was meant for me as a Vata dosha body type. Really, really good.
I think knowing your type is actually really valuable.
Yeah.
It's just so new to me, and it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. I'm like, how have I just heard about this?
I wonder if like knowing your blood type too, and knowing knowing as much about your body as possible. I mean, a lot of people say the blood type thing is really good, and some people say the blood type thing doesn't really play a role at all. But I can't imagine that any amount of knowledge, I mean, I'm sure it's all going to be just one small piece of the entire puzzle.
Yeah.
So the more you know about your body, the more you're going to be able to understand why it behaves the way it does, and why you get cold, or why you feel well after certain foods, why you don't feel well. And so it's probably would be really beneficial for everyone to know their blood type, their dosha type.
I actually don't know my blood type.
Yeah, I don't either, because I think that's a specific test that you have to get done, which we're going to be doing yearly blood tests. Actually, you started, didn't you? Did you do a blood test?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm going to start next.
Every May.
Is it May?
Mm-hmm. Every May, our Dr. Kelly, my naturopath down in Encinitas, for anybody who's in the Southern California area, he's amazing. But there's this life extension panel that runs a really good deal. I think it's usually $1,200 to get all your blood, and you can get it for like $250.
Or it's more than that and less than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they're like $1,500.
I think it is, between $1,200 and $1,500, depending on what you add into that. But the whole panel, I mean, I think I got it for like $260 or $250.
That's so worth it.
That was so worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's good to know all this stuff,
Yeah. maybe if there's naturopaths out there that people are working with, they could ask if the life extension sale applies to them too, anywhere in the country.
Yeah, it probably does.
Because I thought, I was under the impression that blood work always my whole life was so expensive because I always went through insurance.
Uh-huh.
It was more expensive with my insurance, like paid what I had to pay my portion whenever I got like major blood work done. It's like, gosh, if you can do it a little bit lower and without insurance and get what you really want, I've found it to be really helpful this year. It's been a big change for me.
I think it's, what's that quote? That which does not get measured can't get can't get.
I've never heard that.
That which doesn't get measured can't get managed.
That which doesn't. Oh.
Because you can't manage something you don't know what.
Sure.
You don't measure it.
What you're dealing with.
Yeah, so I think getting a yearly blood test, I'm really excited to get mine.
And even though, like we always say, it's just a snapshot in time of that particular day and that moment, I think it's just really, for me, makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Knowing where I stand a little bit with things, even if it's
totally.
for that day, knowing, okay. Because I recently got really good blood work back. I think I put it in my blog as well, with the pancreatic levels are dropping a bit, which is really amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Not as much as I had hoped, but they're dropping. And the liver for me was perfect for the first time in years. So
that's sweet.
I'm pretty happy about that. And for those of you who haven't seen my crazy picture on my blog, oh my gosh, under Kate's blog of my liver.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Have I told this story?
You have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there was a picture I took and posted to our Instagram the morning I went to go get my blood work, and I was saying affirmations in the car and praying over my liver for about 10, 15 minutes, and opened my eyes and the sun was coming through on the left side of the car, and I thought, this is so pretty. I want to capture this moment. Went out, took a picture of it. The sun was so beautiful coming up over the hills that I posted it to the Instagram. Mm-hmm. After I posted it, I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, what is that red orb shining right above the sun? And it's pretty trippy. You look at it, and like, of course, I come home and Google images of your liver, and it's pretty darn close to what a liver looks like.
Yeah, the title of the article is called "You Won't Believe Why Waking Up at 5 a.m. is So Worth It."
Oh, and it was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So when my blood work came back and it said my picture or my liver was perfect, I said, I know. I just knew. God said, I got your liver. You're all good.
You know what? That brings up another point of something that happened yesterday at Thanksgiving.
What was that?
But maybe we should talk about it after the break.
Okay.
Because it has something to do with exactly what you were just talking about. And yeah, I have some pretty strong opinions about it. And this was something you and I talked about yesterday after we came home.
You keep me in suspense. Stellman.
Sweet dreams, Stellman.
That is so funny. Can I tell what that is?
Tell people, yeah.
One time my sister and I went to, it was probably 7-8 years ago, we went to a bed and breakfast to have a girly trip away. And at night, we went back into our room after going out in the town and had some dinner and came back, and there was mints in our pillow and a little note that said, "Sweet dreams, Stellman."
Sweet dreams, Stellman.
It was so funny. It wasn't like "Sweet dreams, Megan and Kate." It was like my last name. It was so, I don't know, just so not personal. And we laughed so hard. We still laugh at that. So you and I get a good kick out of it.
Yeah, so funny.
Oh, funny hotel.
Yeah, so we never even introduced this show. This is episode 345, right?
Correct.
Is that correct? Of Extreme Health Radio. So all the links that we talk about will be at extremehealthradio.com/345. And it's actually Black Friday today, the day after Thanksgiving, 2014. And if you're listening to this in the future, we get a lot of people that go back and listen to archives and things like that, even years ago. And so if you're doing that, some of the Black Friday deals may not be available, but I actually put together a Black Friday page if you guys want to check it out, and save some good money right now. We're doing a $75 off of our sauna too. So
that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. Here, let me put a link to it in the chat room so people can, it's just extremehealthradio.com/Black Friday, all one word. And
there's some really good deals in there.
Yeah, there's some really good deals.
Yeah, our companies that we believe in are offering really good stuff.
Yeah, and I want to tell everyone too that I sent an email out this morning, but I want to let everyone know about the Truth About Cancer Summit is actually going on Ty's site, and you could watch every single one of the 11 episodes for free for I think 3 or 4 or 5 days, and it's about 2 or 3 more days now. So, and they're also offering a discount too. It's like 50% off, I think. You can order the actual physical DVDs or get the digital version and get both. And he's offering 50% off. So it's just
Do you know if it's gone for good after this? Like at some point, will it be where people can't get it anymore?
Yeah, they're closing the doors. I think. Actually, it's linked up on the Black Friday page. Let's see. It's a truth about cancer. I would highly recommend if you want to learn more about cancer and what you can do to prevent it, and if you know anyone who has it, this would just be really, it would be invaluable for them to learn what's really going on. Let's see. It says the entire weekend. We're also offering a 50% off Black Friday sale for the entire weekend, available while supplies last. And I know they do run out because they only have a certain amount of physical DVDs they can make. But
okay. Wow. Good stuff.
Yeah. Holiday Replay Marathon, November 27th to December 1st.
Can you believe it's already November 28th? Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Time flies, man.
Yep.
Time flies.
Sweet sassy molasses.
Sweet sassy molasses. So you can check out all of that at extremehealthradio.com/Black Friday if you want to look, or share that page with any of your friends that may be interested in any of these sort of health products. There's lots of good stuff on here, like the sauna, obviously Amazon, Martial Yoga, which is a great program that I was just talking to Tristan yesterday.
From Tristan.
About a program he's put together to increase your range of motion and to relieve muscle pain and stiffness and tightness in your joints and flexibility to your muscles. Awesome.
Martial, not Martian.
Not Martian.
Not learn how to become an alien.
Not like the Disclosure Project.
Right.
And then just lots of stuff. Organifi green juice powder from $20 off a subscription.
The Drew Cannolis?
Drew Cannoli, wheatgrass juicers or juicers of all kinds, Morocco method, surthrival colostrum, and the deer antler velvet extract, and chemical-free cookware, One World Whey protein powder, Extrema chemical-free cookware is awesome, grounded sandals, activation products, which is like the magnesium in the oceans alive marine phytoplankton. Let's see, they've got Blendtec blenders, Vitamix blenders, stand-up desks, Anne Marie Gianni skincare, Bellicon. People have been buying the Bellicon Rebounder a lot, and just great thing. Berry Breeze, which is there if you want to learn about it. Excalibur dehydrators on it, so you can get kettlebells, battle ropes, steel maces, workout equipment. Vitality Herbs and Clay, which is where we get our Ormalite and bentonite.
That's right.
Sacred clays. Yeah. Good stuff.
My nose is running.
Your nose is running?
It's so dry here. Oh, my goodness.
All right, everybody. So this is episode 345, and I want to share with you a little thing when we get back from the break about something that happened, a little issue that happened at our Thanksgiving. So,
oh, I'm excited. I have no idea where you're going to go with it.
So we'll be right back right after this break. Did you know that conventional dog food contains antibiotics, herbicides, pesticides, ground up carcasses from roadkill subjected to high heat processing, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, way too many carbohydrates, genetically modified corn syrups, indigestible grains, and a lack of moisture content in the dry kibble? Obviously, this can lead to health conditions like diabetes, itchy skin, teeth and gum problems, liver damage, obesity, behavioral issues, pancreatic problems, and even cancer. That's why we recommend the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw food diet from Barf World. Their unprocessed raw meats contain bone, organ meats, vitamins, and minerals that are loaded with enzymes. Barf World founder Robert Mueller explains more.
Sure, I don't have to convince you on the damage that's caused by high heat to food. So as a result, we see many skin disorders, a lot of arthritis, obesity, heart disease, cancers. I mean, it's just rampant. The vet clinics are just full of these conditions. And basically a large percentage of the commercial pet food that's is made up of the human industry leftovers. And the pet food industry makes use of this waste product. And in addition to that, we are subjected to the products coming out of the rendering plants. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage to your dog, you're going to end up with garbage health. You know, if you put the right gas in, your engine runs smoother and lasts longer. So if you put the right fuel in the tank, you're going to get the right output. Garbage in, garbage out.
We've seen an immense difference with our dog Maggie being on this diet. Give your dog the gift of health today by going to extremehealthradio.com/barf or go to our store. That's extremehealthradio.com/barf to learn even more. I
have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself. So go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong.
Listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
So how's that schnoz, baby Kate?
Schnoz? What does that mean?
Your schnoz.
Oh, after I blew it?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very nice. It makes me sound like I don't know what. I don't like that.
Pinocchio.
I'm a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pinocchio. No, I feel a lot better. It's so dry and dusty. Ooh.
I know, right?
I have to say the best part about fall though is these tangerines I'm eating.
Oh, they're so good.
Those little baby tangerines. The organic ones, so good.
Aren't they good? But are they seedless?
Yeah, I guess these are, which kind of worry me a little.
Yeah.
But they are organic.
But they do taste good. It's better than chicken McNuggets.
Right, you think?
Which you don't even know what's in those things.
I know. Chickens don't have nuggets, remember? How do you find the nugget on the chicken?
I know, right?
I don't want to know.
Yeah. Oh, man. Didn't the Food Babe do something about that? I think she did a whole thing on what's inside a chicken McNugget.
Oh, I'm sure she has.
Foodbabe.com.
What hasn't she done?
Yeah, I'll try to find a link to it. Foodbabe.com.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot believe your grandpa's 91. He eats
surviving off chicken nuggets.
Isn't that crazy?
And it was so funny. His wife corrected me because I said something about he gets a fish fillet. No, he gets a filet-o-fish. Apparently at McDonald's, that's what they're called.
That's different. Okay.
Thanksgiving's always so interesting.
I know, isn't it so funny?
A filet-o-fish.
Oh, sorry.
Right, sorry.
Completely different product.
My bad.
That actually put out by Burger King, so that's a competing product. Oh, man. That's crazy.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, by the way.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
That was great. Great, fabulous day. I hope everybody's was filled with family and good, healthy food and just a lot to be thankful for.
So you wrote a blog post?
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with Thanksgiving.
You said, your blog post says, what did you title it?
I don't know, Thanksgiving's a joke or something?
Thanksgiving is a joke.
Yeah.
Explain.
Expand.
Expand
Well,
on
here's
that.
my thought. It's like all the other holidays, like Valentine's Day and I don't
Kwanzaa.
know. Not Kwanzaa. No, but you know how Valentine's Day is just so commercial?
Uh-huh.
Where it's the one day that everybody shows their love for the other people and they buy a bunch of cards and flowers and overpriced meals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like that's my bone to pick with Thanksgiving this year. Haha, no pun intended. But I do feel like there shouldn't be one day where we're all thankful for what we have in our lives, whether it be our health or our families or all that stuff.
Right.
I'm attempting this year to have not one day that goes by where I'm not thankful.
Uh-huh.
I will notice if there's one day where I'm not acting thankful, and that will be a bit of a bummer, because
Right.
I want every day, like how I feel about you. Like it doesn't take Valentine's Day to show you that I care about you. I try to live that way all throughout the year.
Right.
If more people did that, I mean, my gosh, like as much as I like the tradition, like I wrote in my blog last night about going around the table talking about things you're thankful for, why don't we do that every day?
Yeah,
Why not every single day at the table don't we go around and say what we're thankful for and not make it a once a year thing,
It's pretty sad that we have to carve out one day to actually be thankful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of living every day in gratitude, it's amazing that we have to carve out a day to do that, and we think that's normal. We think it's just, it's so great to be thankful on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's kind of ridiculous, really.
There's a guest in the chat room says there's a book I read recently where daily gratitude changed a man's life, and I think that's the first place to start. Is if you want to change your life, is being grateful for the things that you have. And
I do too.
we talk a lot about where we live and how we want to move out of where we are and get into a quieter spot away from all the hustle and bustle that's going on around us. And I just was thinking about that and thinking, you know what? If we are constantly complaining about where we live and the fact that we want something different, we're not happy with where we are. Imagine doing that with a little kid, a little baby or a little toddler, and you give them something and they just complain about it all the time. All they do is complain about it. You know what I mean? And look, why would you give them something else if they're not going to be grateful for what they have? And so, kind of
how I feel God probably feels about us. Like, first learn to be content and thankful for what you have and thankful for continually daily blessings I give you, and then I'll give you more,
Yeah.
Like, learn that lesson.
It says, the book is titled A Simple Act of Gratitude, How Learning to Say Thank You Changed My Life by John Kralik.
Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
Yeah, I love how people in the chat room now are funny because they don't have names in there. Mm-hmm. So that was guest 7582, and then guest 7636 says, "Thanks for the title." 7582. It's like we're just those drones.
It's like Brave New World.
Yeah, Brave New World.
Numbers.
It's like we're just serial numbers. That's hilarious.
I love you guys.
But it's funny. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to talk about what sort of irked me at Thanksgiving, but go ahead.
Oh, just before we go real quick to that, what do you think of bone broth versus chicken broth as far as healing?
You mean turkey bone or what
chicken bone broth
versus what?
I mean, sorry, bone broth of any kind versus like chicken broth or turkey broth. So, I think the bones are where it's at, but I think that the other stuff's healing too.
But you're talking about like bones from cows or something?
No, just whatever. Bone broth in general versus actual chicken broth, like a meat broth.
Oh, so it's how some people do vegetable broth.
Yes. Or like chicken broth versus bone broth, like where you are actually drinking like chicken.
With chicken broth, if you got that from somewhere, it's going to be the from chicken bones.
But they're not boiling the meat with it or anything like that. Like you're not getting like a meaty broth.
Do they?
Well, I think people can boil meats and get more of like a fatty type.
Yeah, I didn't know they did that. I think that the value of the bone broth is going to be from the collagen and the minerals that are contained within the actual bones themselves.
Right, I think so too. Because when you go to the store and in a thing even organic, you buy a chicken broth. It's organic, like it's a flavorings like bouillon cubes and things like that are actually adding this chicken flavor into the thing. But I think there's a natural way to do that by also boiling the meat with it. But I could be wrong. But I think the bones are where it's at, the collagen, right?
Yeah, you wanna. So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/bone broth, let me put it in the chat room. We don't make any money on this. I just put it like that so it's easy to remember. Extreme Health radio.com/bone broth. And you can see where we get ours. That's just a link to this guy called the Flavor Chef. And so when we can't make it ourselves, we buy this. And so what we'll do is we'll stock up on it and buy a lot of it, but then we'll also make our own and sort of go back and forth. And it makes it really easy when you run out because you can just dethaw.
Look at you.
Dethaw, as you would say when you're a kid.
That's my word, dethaw.
So it works out really well. And I think that's where you're going to... And the bone broth that they get is from Artesian's well water.
Yeah, I can't get any more pure than that.
Organic chickens that are grass-fed and raised organically without hormones and flax and all that.
And they have the feet boiled in, the good stuff.
Yeah, it's never in any kind of metal or anything like that. So it's
Our next door neighbor, Teresa, has an autoimmune thing she's struggling with, and she will, on a consistent basis, have a crock pot of bones boiling all night, all day, because she goes through this bone broth like crazy.
Wow.
And she makes it, obviously. You put a little apple cider vinegar in it to help draw out the, what's the word I'm looking for?
The minerals.
From the bones and things.
Yeah.
But she'll use the bones over and over and over for so many times until they start disintegrating. And then when they get really soft and mushy, she pulverizes them in a food processor or a Vitamix and actually makes like a pate or puts it back into the soup that she's going to make and drinks it like really creamy. And she gets the bones like so they become so gelatinous. You
know, it's the most amazing thing. I actually had that from Meridian Grace when we were hanging out with her and Dr. Richard Massey. I think they've both been on our show multiple times. Just great people. And we were at their house in Texas, and she was having me try all of these amazing foods that she was making. And so one of the things that she had me try was this bone pate.
Yeah, you said. Where was I? I was getting my blood looked at when you were doing that.
Yeah, you were doing some family constellation, so you're talking to your ancestors.
I was talking to my liver across from me in a chair, my ancestors.
Yeah, you were talking to your ancestors' liver in the other room. Doing the heart math stuff, and
that was neat. But yeah, you came out and you said you had a bone pate.
It's really good.
You liked it?
Yeah, it's really good.
What did it taste like?
Let me just part this down. Heart math. It's a
heart math. That's right.
I'll put
a link to that too.
Yeah, it's it just tastes like a savory pate. It's just really good. It would be great in like if
Is it
you
really
add
gelatinous?
Yeah, it's gelatinous. It's just I don't know. It just tastes really good because you can add different spices to it, and you can put it in like anything. They want tacos or.
Did it taste like the bone marrow I tried for the first time in Lake Tahoe this year at that restaurant?
I don't think it tasted like that. No.
Okay.
No, but it was just a savory flavor. It tasted really good.
Yummy.
It was good. Incredible minerals in that.
Yum.
Yeah. So
I think there's so much not appeal. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't speak today. There's so much.
Don't say that.
Okay, hold on. Let me think about this. Value. That's not the word I'm looking for.
There's so much what?
In doing the bone broth. There's so much.
Value is the right word.
Yeah, there's a word I just can't put my finger on, but that'll work.
And doing the bone broth on a regular basis?
Doing the bone broth on a regular basis as well as boiling the bones down to get everything. I haven't yet got them to that point where I can pulverize them, but yeah, I think we should do it.
Let's definitely do that.
Yeah.
7636 says, Justin, great show in the chat room. Justin, great show with Dr. Lawrence Wilson a while back on how fruits are damaging to your health. Very interesting. He argues that they are too yin and we need to be more yang. Yeah. But interesting. He was a really interesting guy, Dr. Lawrence Wilson. He does the heavy metal blood test in your hair.
That guy was cool.
The hair analysis. He's really got some good things going on.
So what was your source of contention at Thanksgiving?
Oh,
if you can narrow it down. Just kidding.
No. Well, so I got there earlier and we were talking with your grandpa's wife and and she was talking to my mom, and it was just really like you just start noticing the differences. I don't know about you guys. If you get in family situations, you start realizing how different you are from your family members, how differently you think and process information and construct the world around you. So she starts talking to my mom, and they're talking about immediately their health issues, and so they're just saying things like complaining about this and that, and she's had 6 or 7 surgeries in 7 or 8 years. And how old is Gloria?
Oh gosh,
in her 80s?
No, she's 70s.
70s.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's had all these surgeries and
75.
hasn't really taken care of herself. And was telling my mom that, basically, and, my mom's, I think, the same age or something. And so basically she was just telling my mom about how you break down when you get older, and, your body just isn't what it used to be. And, you're weaker when you get older, and, my bones are brittle, and now I'm having all these health issues and I can't walk and all these things. And I just was thinking to myself, how you talk to your body is, if you have that kind of mentality, then
you're
that's
speaking truth into it.
You're speaking truth right into your body, because your cells are gonna do what your words are communicating. And I just thought, like, wow, what a difference. Like, someone between like her and Louise Hay, who's doing all these daily affirmations and living this amazing life at 90 years old or whatever she is.
And she's talking about this being the best decade of her life and her health and all that.
Yeah, and she feels amazing, does daily affirmations and thanks her body for being so kind to her, and for her legs for giving her strength to walk, and how she's getting stronger every day and all this stuff. And she's constantly reaffirming these ideas to herself. And I just think, it's so strange. It was like, I'm not going to be that person when we're older to get around other people and talk about the past and talk about things that used to happen, the glory days of what we used to do, and how our bodies are failing us now, and how we're weaker now. We can't do the things that we want to do now, and how great the past used to be and all these accomplishments that I used to do in the past. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. It's just, living in the past is a horrible thing.
That's all that we talked about yesterday at Thanksgiving.
Well, that and a bunch of other mindless stuff about,
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
A lot
and
of stuff on TV.
It's just...
Yeah. Who acted in what film, when? I mean...
You and I are sitting across from each other, going, oh my gosh, like, this is just too hilarious.
Oh, it was...
like, just keep the masses happy. Dancing with the Stars.
And everyone there knew. Everyone but... I'm like, I don't know who Sabrina is. Who is she? What? She's from Duck Dynasty? I had no idea. And I didn't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, that's nice, but there's no... How does that change your life? How does that have any, permanent change or addition to your life? I mean, it was just sad to me, because that's in hairstyling all these years, for 15 years. What I hear about more often than not is people, the stories from the past, or stories about famous people that they don't even know. That's what the majority of conversations revolve around. It's pretty silly, don't you think?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's really shallow and really just surface, low-level stuff that is meant, originally the programming is meant to just keep us entertained and keep our eyes off of what's really going on.
Of course.
I wonder think about what new bill is going to be passed in Congress. I find it interesting that they're called bills, because it's essentially a bill to the American people. But what new bill is going to be passed in Congress? This Christmas Eve and all that.
Remember last year how shady that was about the salmon, the wild salmon, and the labeling? It happened. I think it passed on. Was it Christmas Eve? I think it was Christmas Eve last year.
I know, right?
Yeah. There's always something, and the next day you're like, when did that pass? Oh, no one paid attention. Everybody was busy opening presents, and no one even. I don't know.
Well, that's when they passed the Federal Reserve Act in 1913.
On Christmas Eve?
Jekyll Island, 1913. It was Christmas Eve, and they slipped it through without anybody knowing, and that's how we have the Federal Reserve now, which is essentially printing our money. And but it's interesting though. 7582. This is totally Brave New World. Guess 7582 says can't change those people though, and that's kind of like what we're doing yesterday is we can't change anybody.
No.
And we're kind of just going with the flow, and you and I are just kind of winking at each other, and it's
we
nice.
love our family.
We love them, and it's nice to have each other because we
just get each other.
Yeah, we know exactly what each other's thinking, and we're kind of just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And you're right. And when you want to change people, that's when you get into issues.
Yes.
Because you can't change people. You can't change anybody.
No.
As much as you love them.
And as much as you want them to change, I mean, you can't.
It's their soul contract.
Yeah, whatever they're here for.
You know, maybe that's what they're experiencing reality to the extent which that's exactly how they want to experience it.
Yes,
whatever they're experiencing at that time, that's what they want to experience.
I would totally agree with that.
Because if they wanted something different, they would have done something different. They haven't. So whatever they have is what they wanted.
And you have to let people live that out. It's just sad, though.
Yeah. Isby says, try being a new vegan on turkey side.
Turksicle. Turkey side. I thought it said turkey like a popsicle.
Like suicide. Turkicide, yeah. Yeah, being a vegan during holiday season, man, not easy.
Yikes.
Not easy. But, you know, you have to, if you strongly believe in that, which there's nothing wrong with that, I think that you have to stick with your principles.
I agree.
Stick with what you're doing that's aside from what everybody else is doing, you know?
And not care if people make fun of you or not, because I think that some family things people are going to give you a hard time.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom she never made fun of us, but she finally stopped asking every year why we were bringing our own turkey meat, you know? Because I make my own turkey in the morning and we take our own meat.
It's just conditioning.
Yeah, yeah. And now she's like, oh, so you guys are bringing your own meat? Okay. And you're bringing a side? Yep. Okay. Yeah. And it's fine now. But, you know, if we were vegan all of a sudden and we wanted to do that, I think we've prepped them enough to lay off of us. But I do feel bad for the people who don't have that support from their family. That would be really, really tough.
That is really tough. 7636 has a question for you, Kate.
What was that?
I
see it.
What was the spa that you went to, that we both went to in Florida?
We went to the Dayton Medical Center.
In Sunny Isles? Was it Sunny Isles?
Sunny Isles Beach, Florida?
It wasn't near Fort Lauderdale, was it?
No. I mean, it was in between that and Miami. I remember the airports were a nightmare.
Yeah.
But
Dayton Medical Center.
Dayton
Highly
Medical.
recommended.
Yes, it was amazing. We went and we got the most extensive blood work done there, as well as some vitamin C intravenous stuff.
I think we had thousands of dollars worth of blood work. We gave, I think, like 15 vials or something.
Yeah, I think we had 18 vials.
15
to 18 vials of blood.
That's how they discovered your high CA-199 levels.
Yes, the pancreatic.
Thank
that's
God
where I
for
first, that's how I found out and was able to get on top of that.
That's what really kind of took your health journey to another level.
That actually did. I can really, really thank them for being, they were the instrument in that. I would have had no idea.
Dr. Dandis.
Dr. Dandis.
Talk
amazing.
With Dr. Dandis. Tell her we sent you.
Yes, please.
Great
She's
people.
Amazing. And we also had, a 2-hour ultrasound. I mean, they go to town on you there when you go for a retreat or just a bunch of blood work. And I think you can just go there as well for just regular, using them as your IV therapists and
like IV
medical
infusions.
Practitioners.
You can go there and just get all kinds of stuff done. You can sit in the chair and hang out, and great place.
Yes.
Great
place.
I
wouldn't. She asked about, or this, I think it's a woman, I'm not sure, asked about, they're always looking for a good getaway to a spa. I don't know if I'd call it a spa. It was definitely a medical retreat.
Yeah, well, so they have a place in the Dominican Republic where they do their retreats, which is where we went.
Right.
But we also went to their medical center in
Sunny Isles.
In Sunny Isles, Florida, which is where all the blood work was done, and that's where you can go to get treatments as well. But we did both. And so if you're in Florida, you can look into their medical retreats that we did in Dominican Republic. And you can do that, or you can go there and get all your testing done. They have, top level stuff there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think if you're looking for more of a pampering spa type atmosphere, though, you probably want to look into more of like an organic spa. But yeah, it sounds like you're interested in the medical type stuff, and I would highly recommend. We had some really great answers come out of that trip.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yes, it was awesome.
So the other day I posted a thing on Facebook about this documentary, and I don't know if I've told you much about it, but the documentary I watched on Gaiam about sun gazing.
Yes. What is the sun gazing? I know generally what it is, but does the documentary follow people who do it, or what is it? I haven't seen it.
It's it follows a guy from sungazing.com, and we might be able to put this in the show notes, sungazing.com, but that's right there.
Sungazing.com.
Sungazing.
I got it too. .com.
But yeah, so sun gazing, for those that don't know, it's essentially an ancient practice that people have used in order to reach a higher level of spiritual enlightenment. And what they do is they will stand barefoot on the ground connected to the earth.
Okay.
And look at the sun right before it sets and right before it rises. And so the principle and the idea is that if you're getting nutrients, like let's say you're eating hamburgers or a steak from a cow, and the cow's eating the grass, and the grass was given its energy from the sun, right?
Okay.
So you're getting the sun's hitting the grass, the grass is being eaten by the cow, you're eating the cow, right? Then you can cut out the cow and eat the wheatgrass.
Okay.
But then why not just cut out the wheatgrass and just eat the sun?
Oh, wow.
And so that's what people talk about. And there's, I've known about it for years and years and years, but they say that the longer you do sun gazing, the less and less of an appetite you have, because you're getting your
direct
from the source where life comes from, the sun. And so
you're living off of vitamins, really.
Vitamins and minerals. And they say that, I guess vitamin is a combination of some, I forget what it is, some component plus minerals, because it's vitamin. And minerals are the precursors to vitamins, I think. I may stand corrected. But then the elements that come from the sun are energetic, photonic levels of energy that precede minerals. So this is what precedes the mineral, which precedes the vitamin, which precedes all the energetics that we get from food.
Okay.
So it's getting it from the top source. And so this one Mormon guy in the documentary was saying, like, isn't it interesting that that when the curse happened after they ate food.
Huh.
So maybe the food eating. So maybe by removing the eating of the food and getting your energy from the sun, you can get back to the point where mankind was before they were cursed by God.
So he's proposing that Adam and Eve in the garden, weren't eating anything
until they ate of the food of whatever it was they were.
Well, that's interesting, because it's true. They never talk about eating before they picked it and ate it.
Yeah, apparently it's not. Which is one of my problems with the Bible and Genesis is why I don't want to talk about any of this stuff. But maybe the whole digestive tract got formed as a result of eating the food, that way. And so mankind, as part of the curse that's talked about in Genesis, mankind now is cursed by needing to eat food to live.
Huh.
Because a lot of people talk about how Adam and Eve, if they were real people, were most likely like these sort of light beings, these energetic light beings. And so anyway, the sun gazing, apparently...
Well, that would explain why we have so much issues with food, so many issues, and why we can't, something's different for everybody,
Oh, yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Why no one can find the perfect food. It's not like we can eat manna all day long.
I know, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
So there's a guy named HRM, and he's an Indian guy, and it's funny because his name, I forget what it stands for. It's HRM.
It's in here. Did you see this in the chat?
No, I didn't.
Is that the one you're watching? Have you watched the rest of it yet?
I haven't, no.
Because this person in the chat room says at the end of this film, he was exposed as a total fraud. He was caught in a bold-faced lie.
Oh, I was going to get to that.
I didn't mean to ruin it for you.
Oh, man, you stole my thunder.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Yeah, so...
I just said you hadn't finished it, and I didn't think you knew that yet, but do you know what,
what that
lie would be?
I know about HRM, so I knew that...
Manic.
Yeah, Hira. So the story is that this HRM was apparently was just a guy that he's a breatharian. He lives off the sun, and he doesn't eat any food. And then he changed his tune a little while by saying he does take, every now and then he takes some liquids, because he does drink water.
Okay.
But he said sometimes I might drink some coffee or something like that, but never any solid foods ever, ever, ever. And as this guest says in the chat room, he's quoted as saying, I never eat, I wouldn't eat for $1 million. And so they caught him going into McDonald's.
Oh, gosh. Are we sure he wasn't getting a Happy Meal for a friend?
Well,
they catch him eating?
That's always, yeah. See, that's the thing, is you always got to look deeper into these things, right? Just because a guy like that's going to McDonald's doesn't mean anything. He could. Right. We've gone in there on a road trip up to
go to the bathroom.
To go to the bathroom, yeah. But he did have coffee in there, and that's all they found.
Okay.
But there are other stories about him being filmed at buffets and things like that, like this person says. But anyway, it really doesn't matter whether or not this guy eats, and there shouldn't be so much, if he wants to tell people that he doesn't eat, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. If you want to follow this guy and blah, 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 because, you think he doesn't eat, you just got to look into things, just because if he's lying about it, that's, he's allowed to lie. We're allowed to lie.
But are there people you think that aren't lying? Either way, there's probably people who really are true breatharians? Or do you think it's just like a...
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's possible with the human body. It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't say it's... it wouldn't surprise me at all that this guy, there are people that don't eat and live off the sun. It's not something I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
But some of the benefits of the sun gazing are, I've never done it. I've only done it a little bit from time to time. But also the guy that made this movie ended up having some sort of lesion on his retina that he couldn't.
That's what we're just talking about here too.
Oh,
in the chat room.
In the chat room, yeah.
One of the guys in the film got eye damage following his advice. So you got to be really crazy, or you got to be really careful. That's crazy.
Yeah. But then he said, there's just so much to it, because he asked the person who did the test and discovered this thing that was wrong with his eye, could this be a result of the sun gazing? Could it have existed before I started? And at this point, he had been staring at the sun for like 6 or 8 months. But the practitioner said, no, this is definitely caused by looking at the sun.
Wow.
And so, but again, that is an opinion. That's not a fact by this guy. He could have had this before he started looking at the sun. And why doesn't he have it in both eyes and only one? That's kind of weird.
Wonder what Dr. Kondrat would think of that.
I know, right?
Wasn't he the eye guy?
He's the eye guy.
What's his first name again?
Edward.
That was a great interview.
So here's some of the physical benefits, according to HRM, that can be felt within 3 to 6 months of the practice. Improved vision, improved health and immune system, never gets sick again, aids natural healing from various kinds of diseases and ailments like chronic fatigue syndromes, migraines, increased energy, reduction in hunger, eventually leading to breatharianism. Mental and emotional benefits could be seen within 1 to 3 months of the practice. Peace, calm, and clarity, emotional balance, and reduction in irritability and stress. You can heal painful emotions like anger and resentment, increase euphoria and joy. And the spiritual benefits, 6 to 9 months of practice, increase spiritual awareness, ability to awake psychic abilities, ability to go deeper meditation more effortlessly.
That would be a hard one. I think it's hard to give up my cheesecake and my estrogenic foods, and imagine that.
It's funny, though, because why does it have to be an all or nothing thing? Why can't you just eat and do... because they get up to... I think the goal is to get up to 44 minutes of sun gazing. And increasing by 10 seconds per day. I don't recommend it. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone listening. You can do your own research and see if it's something for you. If I do it at all, I'll do it right before the sun. I'm not going to let the sun get high in the horizon. Because in order to do that, you have to be...
My dad had a guy he worked with, and his son had some severe problems and some blindness for a while from doing something with the sun, staring into it for... I forget what he had, binocular. It was something really bad.
Oh, really?
And burnt his eyes. And,
really?
Yeah, it was... I remember hearing that as a kid, and it just freaked me out. So I don't like looking at the sun until it's like right ready to set down. It's just really hard for me to look at. I can't enjoy looking at the sun.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's because I'm also not trained to do it, but I enjoy it when it's just really, really pretty right near the end.
Yeah, totally. But there is something spiritual about it, too. I think that getting up with the morning and sun and evening sun, I don't know. I think there's something... it's a pretty good documentary. It's called Eating the Sun.
Eating the Sun.
And you can get it on Gaiam. We'll put a link to Gaiam.
Sounds good.
So we're going to take a little bit of a break right now.
Cool.
And we're going to run an ad for our sauna, our favorite sauna. And right now, guys, if you want to, if you have the money for it, it's $75 off for the next couple days until the weekend ends. So just want to let you guys know about that. But yeah, that's it, right?
I think that's it.
All right, we'll be right back right after this break. Kate and I have had our sauna for about a year now, I'd say, when we first got it from Phil Wilson. and it's an incredible machine. We use ours about every single day. Kate sits in about 20 minutes, and I sit in there about for a half hour. Usually watch a documentary, and it's extremely relaxing. It's really, really an incredible machine. And if you go to extremehealthradio.com/sauna, you can learn all about it. We did an entire hour interview with Phil Wilson. You can check that out. You can look at the pictures of us with it. You can watch videos on that page. It helps you to sleep really, really well. You can lose a lot of weight with it. You can burn, I think, around 600 calories in about 20 minutes or so. It improves your skin, increases circulation all over the body, and circulation is critical for your health. You can prevent and reverse diseases with it. If you have a cold or flu, it's incredible. It heats you down to the core. It heats 4 to 6 inches inside your body, so it's really incredible. And a lot of people use it for cancer as well. So if you have any kind of incurable, quote, disease, you can use it for that. And Dr. Shade is the foremost authority on detoxification. And listen to what he says about it.
How do I detoxify from plastics? I mean, you guys are using a sauna, and what does a sauna do for us? A sauna is great. It's moving a number of different toxins. Remember, we talked about the mice that if you put PCBs in there, then that made the mercury all that much worse. And sweating moves out a lot of plastics, volatiles, fat-based toxins. It's really good at moving those out, sweating those out. So that's how you're getting those out, and those are contributing to this synergistic soup inside the body. And so that's why they're good, is they're taking out a bunch of the different things in the soup.
And Daniel Vitalis, one of our favorite guests. What do you have to say about the sauna?
When you go into the sauna, like a far infrared sauna like you discussed, your body goes into a deep relaxation mode, and your sympathetic nervous system shuts down and your parasympathetic nervous system turns on. And when that's active, that's the nervous system, part of your nervous system that's active when you meditate. That becomes active, and your detoxification pathways open up wide. Why is this important? It's important because when you go running and you sweat, you're not necessarily eliminating very much toxicity from your body. But when you sweat in the sauna, you eliminate a lot of toxicity from your body. So sweating in a relaxed state is how we eliminate. The other thing is that what's wonderful about the sauna is that it puts you in a parasympathetic nervous system response, like as if you were meditating. So it's almost a hack. It's like a trick to get yourself into a meditative, relaxed state, to decompress stress, to reverse the effects of stress, and to get your body eliminating deep, deep toxicity that's stored in your body fat, because it can come out in the oils of your skin. So I think, sauna is one of the most crucial detoxification, really health practices that we could take on, especially in this era of heavy toxicity, particularly fat-soluble toxins.
This sauna is really, really great. They offer payment plans, because if you buy it through PayPal, it's 100% secure. You don't even need a PayPal account. I think you could do a payment plan through PayPal. It's got low EMF electromagnetic fields coming off of it. It's portable, so that means you don't have to knock down a wall in your house. You can just move it from room to room. It sets up in about 2 to 5 minutes. It's super easy to clean. All you got to do is wipe it down when you're done, and wipe the neck down, and it produces energy and heat inside very, very evenly throughout the whole machine. All you have to do is sit in there for about 15 minutes a day. And the great thing I like about it too is it requires zero preheating. So you turn it on and you're starting to get warm, and you're starting to detoxify with that far infrared light almost immediately. So it's really great. It comes with a 1-year warranty. It's about $990 plus $25 shipping. And that's really, really a good deal, because if you look at most of the regular saunas out there, they are in the $2,000 to $4,000 range. So this is really, really a good deal. So check it out, extremehealthradio.com/sauna.
All free shows, all the time, on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
We're just having a great time here. I'm just reading the chat room.
Were we supposed to go on a while ago?
No. It was perfect timing. But Isby says, I'm starting a urine fast this weekend until Christmas.
Oh, my gosh. Really?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, right there.
That is
wow.
just so crazy. What is sun yoga? They're mentioning that in the chat room. Sun yoga. I never heard of that. I mean, is that a specific book or a program
yoga.
Or something?
Huh.
Yeah, urine fast this weekend. Let me put a little link to our page on urine if you guys are interested.
Our page on urine.
Extreme Health Radio. Hey, it is Extreme
How to
Health,
make
right?
it.
How to make urine.
It's a how-to book. Drink water. Pretty easy.
It gets made.
It makes itself.
It makes itself. Yeah, pretty cool.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah, so if you guys want to keep up to date with everything we have going on, I would highly recommend signing up to our newsletter. We're giving away a great book called Lessons from the Miracle Doctors. It sells for $20 on Amazon, and you get to keep up to date with everything we have going on with our shows, so you'll never miss an episode that we do. And also, we give you a really great audio that talks about how I was able to overcome my food addictions and food. I have some crazy food addictions, and I talked about how I do that. So you can download that in the.
What was your biggest food addiction?
Biggest food addiction, easily chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, I would agree.
Any carb.
I agree.
Any carb. I used to love double chocolate chip muffins.
You used to. You were so weak in that area.
Oh, well, I appreciate you. Wow, that's really nice.
We'd be going through the grocery store and it was like a magnet just pulled you over there, and I'd laugh. You just load up the cart with muffins and ding dongs.
Yeah, I didn't have the strongest ability to resist any kind of temptation.
You were funny, and it was like, I think we've told the story before, how on your 27th birthday, maybe I got you 20, or maybe it's 26, I don't remember. Got you that many chocolate chip cookies, these giant homemade ones from the local deli.
Oh man!
And you ate them all within like 24 hours.
Oh, less than that. I ate like 70% of them before I went to bed.
That's terrible. I don't even know how you slept with all that sugar in your body.
That was horrible. So, talking about urine. We put on, about 3 weeks ago, we put a urine challenge to people to try it at least once. And Baby Kate, I'm curious if you've jumped on the bandwagon.
Well, I'm glad Tana's not in the chat room. She'd be all over me.
Yes.
I've been talking trash about this urine thing. No, I haven't. That's the short answer.
Yeah.
I have wanted to every day since I have been basically taking the challenge.
Yeah.
Tana challenged me to a urine shot. What's it called? A challenge, I guess I should say. But no, I haven't had the time, and I have had the time, but I haven't made the time.
Right.
So I think that this weekend's probably going to be it for me. I have to just take the challenge and go for it. There is talk in the chat room here though about curiousness about how many drops of urine one must drink, and also the fear and the mental part of just pushing through the resistance to drink your own urine.
Well, I'm not to that point where, because we've all been socially conditioned, and for me, I'm not to the point where I can just drink it straight up. And a lot of people do that. That's not really, I don't really feel called to do that. I don't really feel like I want to do that. Maybe one day, but I don't know. So I think that if you, like the key with this is apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
That's the
I don't think I could do it without it.
Yeah, and plus too, apple cider vinegar is so great for you. On so many levels. I actually have a little thing here pulled up about the benefits of apple cider vinegar I'd like to share with. Prevents flu and stomach illnesses, dissolves kidney stones, balances pH in the body, relieves heartburn, nausea, acid reflux, asthma and allergies, relieves gout, lowers glucose levels. It helps relieve migraines. It's great for acne and warts. It's just an amazing thing. It reduces cholesterol, reduces inflammation. And one of the things it does too is it breaks down the biofilms in the body. So it's really, really an incredible thing. And so it's an excuse to take that too. And so why not do both in one? And you don't taste the urine. So I like last night I must have done like an ounce.
So you do it before bed? Is that kind of your nighttime routine? Your nighty-night routine?
Yeah. Nighty-night, everyone. I'm going to bed. Gotta go to the bathroom first. We just go a little detour to the bathroom.
So gross.
No, I mean, I just do it whenever, but Yeah, you just got to have the apple cider vinegar. And you're good to go.
So how much apple cider? What's the ratio?
I usually do. I have like a little. It looks like a shot glass. So so I fill the shot glass up maybe half an inch high with urine, and then I double that with apple cider vinegar. So I do equal parts apple cider vinegar and then another equal part of water. So I'm able to throw it all back and not. It's not like too much that I have to drink it in 2 gulps. You know, you can just do it all in one, and you just drink it. It doesn't taste like it. Just tastes like apple cider vinegar.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'm doing it by the time this weekend's over. It's a holiday weekend. Seems like a good time to try something.
Yeah, you launch new things on holidays.
I always do launch new things.
I know, right?
Holidays. Yes. And I don't mind this. I love the taste of apple cider vinegar. I love how it burns my throat.
I thought you were going to say, I love the taste. I don't mind urine.
Oh.
It's just the apple cider vinegar I don't like. The urine, I love that.
Yeah. What I've been doing is just adding more urine to my urine to take away any apple cider vinegar that might be lingering in there.
Got to get rid of the apple cider vinegar, that pesky taste.
Oh, you're funny.
Yeah, no, it's, I think it would be something really to get into.
I do too. Well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to stop talking about it. I've been really meaning to. But.
So we have a listener question here. It says, hi, Justin. I do appreciate the effort to spread the message that people should eat more healthy, and they should. But I always thought that to be healthy, we should keep the fat as low as possible. See the DVD and the book Ty Bollinger, Step Outside the Box. I'm referring to Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Furman, Dr. McDougall, Dr. Neil Barnard. They claim that fat is fat. Even olive oil is not healthy. Avocados, nuts, seeds, olives can be in moderation. I would like your opinion on that. How do you say it? ILSE?
ILSE?
ILSE, that's her first name.
Oh, Elise?
But it's ILSE. Weird.
IS.
But she's from Belgium. So we're really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Ty Bollinger recommends low fat because we've hung out with him in person, and he doesn't seem like the type of guy that would recommend that. Yeah, a lot of people talk about low fat, like especially the raw vegans. Like if you do the 80-10-10, that's like 10% of your 80% of your diet is coming from carbohydrates.
You're speaking ahead of behind me, and it's all Maggie.
It's that biomat, man.
She's on the biomat. Puts her out.
Puts her out like in 5 seconds flat.
Hilarious.
But yeah, they talk about doing 80% of your diet is carbohydrates, and 10% is coming from fat, and 10% protein. 80-10-10.
How about we do 80-10-5-5? We had 5% urine. 5%. We should make that. Should be a new book, a new product we write.
No way, that would be awesome.
The 80-10-5-5.
The 8-5-6-4-3-2-1 diet. That'll be easy. That'll sell like hotcakes. Be super easy. It's like the
super
Richard
easy to
Simmons
remember.
deal a meal. Just carry these cards in your wallet.
I'm dying over here.
Your deal a meal cards.
10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1.
No, you know what?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember deal a meal?
Am I too young?
Oh, no, that was in the 80s. Richard
crying.
Simmons.
No, I know who he is, but what was a deal a meal?
Oh, gosh. I should put the infomercial. It's hilarious.
You carry around cards with you?
Yeah, you carry around cards, and you combine these cards to figure out what you're supposed to eat every meal. And so it's called deal a meal. And it's like...
You randomly pick them so you mix up your meals?
I think so. And you have like these cards that you keep in your wallet. What were we thinking in the 80s? I mean, my goodness. What the hell were people doing?
That's almost just like a random luck of the draw. Was it health inspired?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was to help people lose weight.
Oh, random.
It was the latest weight loss fad craze in the 80s.
Gosh, I thought I knew everything about the 80s, but I don't remember that at all. I remember him, but I don't remember Deal a Meal.
You know what? I think that my personal philosophy is that I feel much better on fat. Each person is going to have their own tolerance. And to be honest, I don't think you should listen to me, to Ty Bollinger, to Dr. Esselstyn. They all have good things to say. Dr. Neil or Dr. Furman, all great people, all knowledgeable people, much more knowledgeable than I am in regards to this. But what works for me is high fat. Mm-hmm. It may not always work for me. Maybe there would be a time where I would do what these guys are talking about. Right now, I feel good on eating a lot of fat and very little carbohydrates. And And as far as I understand, fats are what allowed us to get through the deep cold, the winter times, and having some body fat on your body coming from fat. And a lot of people say, well, you don't get fat by eating fat, but you get fat by eating more carbohydrates and calories and things. But
well, and also depends on where you were living. I mean, obviously the Alaskans, you know.
Yeah, they had to eat that.
The more blubber around you, the better.
Yeah, and fat is what helps build cholesterol in the body. It's surrounds the lipid membranes of your cells. Your brain is like 80% fat. And all these guys may have arguments against that, but for me, I feel good, and I think that that's how our bodies are meant to run, on more fat, more protein. But that being said, we're always open. At Extreme Health Radio, there's no dogma here. Who knows? The raw vegan might be the way to go. Who knows? We're all doing our own little experiment, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And, I think it also changes. Like when I've been blogging, I started this feel good project on my blog.
Yeah, tell people about that.
Yeah, I just, basically my health has been so up and down and obviously getting way better and steadily inclining within the last 6 months. I'm just super, super grateful. But I still have days where I wake up and just feel like crap, And I thought, I don't want to forget what I do during a day or what helps me, to feel my best and get back to feeling really good all the time and not just this low standard new level of quote, good, So yeah, I started this, but I thought, day to day I feel better, and different season to season I feel different, or I feel worse, or I'm going to add things in and take other things out, or and that's just part of the journey, and that's cool. I mean,
listen to yourself.
What works for me now, like you said, like the high meats and things like this, I might, in a month be raw vegan. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what my body needs at a certain time. I think the key for me is really, for the first time in my life, being clear enough to listen to my body and what it needs. That's all.
And stop listening to other people.
Stop listening to other people. Completely.
Yeah, I think that is so huge.
Yes.
I think that is so huge, is to stop listening to what other people are saying. Stop listening to other people's dietary platitudes, even us. Try what they're talking about, try what we're talking about, and see what works for you. And if it works for you, get your blood tested, see if it's actually working for you on a chemical basis, on a physiological, biological level. And if it is, then keep doing that. If you feel good and all that, just keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Your Feel Good project, for those who don't know, this is a 365-day blog project that you're going to be writing every single day, and you haven't missed a day since October 31st.
No, I haven't. I'm
Isn't
so
that
excited.
awesome?
And for me, committing to something is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and we're turning them all into audio blogs as well.
Yes.
So we're giving like an audio companion to the article.
Which I had never heard about that before. I think this world is so cool right now with what's going on in the technology world. And
yeah,
I told you, I think I'm getting a little bit better, but I have a long way to go as far as sounding more natural and not just reading.
It's hard
my
to
blog.
do. Yeah,
it's hard. It's funny. You're sitting here with a microphone by yourself,
talking to
yourself about your day, and it's very strange. I mean, it really puts you on the spot to perform and to sound natural. But this is the kind of challenge I'm up for. I'm really excited this year to kind of see myself come out of my shell a little bit more. And I'll look back and probably cringe at the first couple ones I did.
But you know what? Some of the audio blogs, I'm toying with the idea too. If you go to extremehealthradio.com/audio blogs, plural, audio blogs, you can listen to both of our audio blogs. You don't even have to go to the actual blog posts where they are. You can listen to them all right there, and then get links to the specific post that Kate and I are reading right there within the little player itself. So it's really cool.
Can you upload? So like I'm still learning how this works because I'm not a techie.
Mm-hmm.
But can you upload all of our audio blogs onto the iPod and just play them all the way through? Like if you're driving.
Yeah.
Can you upload them all at once?
You can download them all from that page.
Look at me. Upload, download. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know these.
I don't know these.
But you can download them all.
Laser beams on their head, attached to their head.
Attached to their heads. No, yeah, you can download all of them straight from that page and then put them on your computer and then upload them into iTunes if you like, and listen to them all on iTunes. And it's pretty cool. You can put them on your iPod or whatever, and it's really cool. It's a cool project.
Still snoring.
Yeah, still
we
snoring.
need to get Maggie a doggy pod.
A doggy
We can just put we can upload a lot of different dogs just barking and talking to each other.
Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
Maybe she'd learn a thing or two about how to behave.
Hopefully.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
No, but it's been a fun project, and for me, committing to something is really cool. And I don't know, it's past the 21-day habit mark, and I'm really loving it. I feel like, there's no rules with that. And I tend to try to put so many rules on how to do things and have things be perfect before I want to put them out into the world.
Right.
But, some of them aren't that informative. Some of them kind of suck. Some of them aren't as good as I'd want them.
Right.
But it's just how I'm feeling, and whether I'm tired and writing it at 10 o'clock at night, or I have a bunch of energy and it actually was a great article. Whether it's books I'm reading, or whether it's things I'm cutting out of my diet, or whether it's doctors I'm going to, or I want to write my life in a way that I'm going to remember. It's for me. And if other people hopefully get something out of it, then that's what it's all about. But I don't know. I don't want to have rules of, writing daily dietary journals if I don't feel like it, or if I do, then I'll do that. Or
yeah, it's completely uncensored, and it's a unique look at your personal life and your struggles and things that are working for you and things that aren't, things that maybe you have or have not shared or don't want to share in the show. It kind of brings to, people can get to know you a little bit better.
Yes.
Through your audio blogs and through your articles, which is really cool.
I hope so. I mean, just a person. I'm sure. I think I have a lot in common with most people, especially in the health world. We all have our challenges.
Yeah, your journeys. I wanted to ask you too, because I know you wanted to let everyone know about the Empowered Women's Channel.
Yes, the Empowered Women's Channel.
Yes, right?
So yeah, it's something that, I don't know, I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but there's not really a whole bunch to tell other than, what was it, July? I partnered with a good friend of mine, and we launched the Empowered Women's site, and was really involved with that. It was probably a year in the making leading up to the launch, and super exciting things going on. The connections I've met are just priceless, and the people that have been introduced into my life between now and then has just been one amazing journey. But I started just feeling like, I don't know, it just wasn't really completely where I was resonating with at this time in life. Nothing to do with anyone involved or anything. It was just, I just felt like I had to branch off and kind of go a different direction. So I've chosen to kind of hand over that. I mean, Bo, my good friend and partner with Empower Women's, was doing a ton of the work anyway. It was really a lot of her project, and she was so savvy with the technology and all that part. I was helping a lot behind the scenes in other ways, but I just felt like I wasn't living up to my end of the deal, and just felt really, really like I had different things to offer at this time in life.
Right.
So I've chosen to step away, and I wish them the best, and I will be supporting them as much as I can. And I just want to tell everyone to continue to follow them, because they're doing amazing things on that project, and it is going places, and it's beautiful, and there's a lot of great information on it. So, I started the Feel Good Project, and I actually have another blog I've been wanting to start for a long time.
But we won't reveal that now.
We won't reveal that now, but it's in the works, and it will be within the next month. I will release that. And
yes.
Just see where that goes. And,
pretty
I just
fun
feel like
putting yourself out there.
I'm in such an inward journey right now that it's kind of what I wanted to focus on.
You have a lot to share in that regard.
We'll see. But I'm excited.
Yeah, some good things going on. And make sure to follow the Empowered Women's Channel, doing some great stuff. It's just that you we're no longer resonating with the vision and things like that, right? So
I can't really even put a finger on what it specifically was, other than it just didn't feel right at this time. Yeah,
well, sometimes you have to listen to. I think that's part of what our whole work is about is getting more in tune to your body, whether it's the kind of work you're doing, the kind of food you're eating, who you're around,
what you believe,
where you should walk at night, whether or not you should go to a certain place or not. Getting more in touch with who you are and being able to listen to yourself. That's part of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. And being honest.
And being honest about it and being okay with that.
Because I fought this decision because I didn't want to let this thing go. And then I realized I was just a birthing vessel. I needed to give birth to this and walk away. And sometimes when you do that, it doesn't mean you give birth to ideas and you hold on to them. Some are just meant to give birth, and you leave them with someone else. And you were just part of the initial process. And then that's all you were supposed to do. And, it's a blow to your ego, and it's a really hard thing to... I didn't want to be honest, and I struggled with it for months because of how much I loved it and the idea of it and the people I was working with. But that's what's cool, when you can unattach yourself from the outcome of things and, I don't know, just really get into the flow and know that nothing's wrong or right. It's just the whole journey is really about listening deep, deep, deep to know what you need at what time and to follow it. Otherwise, you're going to take the long way. I've been comparing it a lot to the story in the Bible of Jonah and the whale.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he didn't want to go to Nineveh or wherever that was. And he fought it, and God finally scooped him up, and spit him out in Nineveh. It's like, okay, well, if you're destined to go somewhere and this is where you're going to end up, it's going to be a better journey if you kind of just give in and flow, instead of fighting it, because you're going to end up there anyway with a lot more heartache.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot more kicking and screaming. So
yeah, because if you fight along the way, you're going to have so many more issues that arise at the little points along the way that you're having issues with.
Amen.
So there's a great book. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, called The Motivation Manifesto by Brennan Burchard.
Oh,
and he's got a whole book or a whole chapter on fear. And the subsection of this chapter is called The Social Conditioning of Fear. And I'll just read it for a little bit. Why are some people more driven by fear than by freedom? It can only be because in the past they were conditioned to be fearful, either by those around them or by their poor application of mental faculties. There's no genetic curse or personality trait that permanently condemns one person to fear more than another. Even a genetic predisposition for anxiety can ultimately be flipped on or off by mental conditioning. We are not slave to our history. We can be freed from our conscious thoughts and disciplined habits. Let us begin with the understanding of how fear is socially conditioned. Fearful people tend to be slapped by their interactions, or shaped by their interactions.
Slapped. That too, actually.
I know, right? They were pushed and molded into being timid, weak, and afraid by their critical parents, bullying peers, or small-minded teachers and bosses. The people around them were always cautioning or harming them, and so they became habituated to the impulse of fear. It came up so often they got used to it. From a fearful past, they have generated a fearful-driven present. This is not to blame our past or excuse our fears. When people choose fear as an adult, they are choosing not to manage or overcome it. This is difficult work for many because fear has become their default impulse. The thoughts ruling their minds and their self-talk replay the cutting barbs of critics and the misguided caretakers who wants to demean them. The good news is we can change this conditioning. When we awaken to responsibility, we realize that nothing can be done about our past, but to see it from a new perspective. We can release ourselves from its grip. We cannot control how others treated us yesterday, so let us work instead on understanding how we are currently dealing with those who stoke our fear today. The great efforts to move our lives forward always come down to a new moment when we interrupt our fear and activate our freedom by choosing how to feel, interpret, and direct our lives. Part of the mastery of life comes from anticipating that the same kinds of characters that sought to instill fear yesterday shall be met yet again today and tomorrow. Knowing this, we become wary of people who chip away at our freedom. These are the warriors, the weaklings, and in rare cases, the wicked. Mm. And he goes on and on about each one of those three types of people: the warriors, the weaklings, and the wicked.
Well, who doesn't have fear? That's the thing.
Oh
Everyone is driven by fear.
Oh, the whole world is driven by fear.
Every decision I've made is driven by fear. I think that I've by no means mastered this, but I'm aware, and I think awareness is the first step to realizing how fear-driven we all are.
Check this out.
Everything we do.
Check this out. This is really cool. We must, let's see, it's an awkward social reality. We must protect ourselves from being limited by those who care for us as much as those who blatantly oppose us. So what can be done? We must learn to hear doubt, worry, and anxiety with great acuity, and we must not integrate other people's fears into our own decision-making. Developing this kind of acuity is easy for the conscious person, since almost all warriors use the same language and arguments. They favor cautioned reason as their shield of choice in, quote, protecting us. Their matter-of-fact tones and phrases all sound the same. Quote, be careful, you might get hurt. Be careful, you don't know what could happen. Be careful, they might fire you, forget you, reject you, hate you, spurn you, despise you, or pick on you. Are you sure you want to do that? You wouldn't like that. That's not who you are. You can't do this. That's not really your thing. And he goes in, they don't see that they cause treachery by arguing for us to play it safe. It's the loving mother who says, careful, honey, at every turn as her child goes about the normal activities of childhood.
My mouth's open over here, my head's shaking.
I totally thought of you.
I still get that.
Because you would have that when you were like taking a shower.
Oh, we'd go into the shower. I've said this many times. We'd go into the shower and be careful, don't lock the door behind you in case you slip and fall. We need to be able to get in and get to you. But my biggest one was last couple days ago.
Hilarious.
I was at Disneyland with my family, out of all places, and my mom, I said that we were going to be purchasing a few Black Friday things, and that I wanted to go down to an outlet store to get an appliance. And it was, 20-minute drive from here. She said, well, when are you going to go? I said, well, Black Friday. Well, what time? Well, I don't know. After Thanksgiving dinner, maybe if it starts Thursday night, maybe Friday. Well, Black Friday is such a scary day to be driving. I mean, make sure you take Justin with you. Make sure, if it's dark, make sure, be careful, be careful, be careful. I heard like 15 times about being careful going, and I go, Mom, no, I'm going to drive reckless and insane.
I'm just going to drive. I'm going to go the opposite way on the freeway.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Just because. I'm feeling
1,000 miles an hour.
I'm feeling confident
at midnight in the dark with no headlights. No, but it was that kind of thing where I said that and she kind of laughed and she's like, well, and she didn't know what to say to that. But I thought, man, I just over and over and over and over. This is the message that's been driven into all of our brains. And
it is.
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore.
In one of your articles, you said recently, what was it? Like, fear sucks, I'm done with it or something?
Yes, it does suck. I'm done.
That was
when I was eating the cashew butter. I'm just like done being afraid.
Oh, yeah. Silent Retreat Day 2. You said at the very end, because that's also an audio blog.
Mm-hmm. I think, though, like...
You said, I'm so over fear. Fear sucks. I'm done.
You can quote me on that.
I just quoted you.
I'm so over fear.
Kate.
Fear sucks.
Baby
I'm
Kate.
done. White flag. Done.
It's true.
Well, I feel like when living in this new space that I'm finding to be really free, and I still have way farther journey to go into being truly free from fear. When I have something arise that doesn't feel right and a little inkling of fear comes in, I'm able to now more distinguish between a real fear and a fake fear. Like there's been a few things lately where I go, that's weird. I'd have this thought. I'm going to listen to that. That seems like, yeah, that came from nowhere kind of. So I'm going to kind of roll with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And like one time I was going to be driving somewhere and you had that fear for me and you never have that kind of a thing.
Yeah, right.
So I thought, okay, when things come up that are strange or I don't feel right about them, I don't want to be fearful, but I'm going to more give into that other than, my mom saying, be careful, don't trip, don't go driving, don't, blah, blah, blah. Like to me, that's a more valid kind of thing to listen to that inner. Again, it's going inside.
Right.
And when you have something kind of go, that doesn't set well. That seems more valid to me than just being afraid to go out the door and go, Black Friday shopping.
Right.
Because there's too much traffic on the road that day, Yeah,
I completely agree.
I'm being selective about what I listen to in my head.
And, fear was essentially something that applied as we, as a species, continued to expand and grow to the physical body. And so fear was never this sort of thing that was coupled into every sort of aspect of our daily life. Like, if you were fearful, it was for a few minutes while you're running to get away from a tiger.
Right.
But it was uniquely tied to your human corporeal form, your physical existence, and preserving that. But now it's like people will say, "Oh, I'm afraid to give a speech."
Right.
Well, if people really got better with their language, they would say, "Well, I'm afraid to give the speech because I'm afraid that I may stumble on my words and I may not sound eloquent. I'm afraid of what people may think of me when I give the speech." But you're not really afraid to give the speech. And so reshaping our language about what we call fear is something else too.
Sure.
Because we just give that name fear onto everything we possibly can and label it all together. And we say we're afraid to do that, but we're not. We're not afraid to give speeches. It's just that we're afraid of what people will think about us, or we're afraid of that kind of an idea.
You're right, but let's dig a little deeper and get honest about what we're saying and what that actually means.
Yeah.
Say it as it really is,
Yeah, and fear, man, if you watch the news, if you watch any of that stuff, it's all fear, all of it. Anyone who's if you're listening to anyone, whether it's you're watching YouTube videos, you're watching network news, I highly recommend you don't do that. But if you're listening to someone, or if you are reading their material, or whatever you're doing, being exposed to somebody else's information, if you're walking away with fear, then I would highly recommend that you stop
Pick
listening.
a new path.
Yeah, pick someone else to listen to. Because fear is the ultimate way to control people. And it doesn't matter if it's natural health websites that are telling you the Armageddon is coming and you got to build a bunker, or if it's the government telling us that we have to kill some country, start bombing people.
Yeah, because they're after us.
Ebola. If you're walking away from something feeling like you're somehow less powerful, then I highly suggest you get rid of that.
I would totally agree.
Because you don't need it's coming from every direction anyway. The very least you want to do is prevent yourself from listening to that kind of stuff when you have the option of not doing that.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Right, because it's going to get thrown at you anyway. So when you have a choice in it, why choose that road?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Amen.
Amen.
You preach it. Okay. We'll leave it at that.
We got it now.
We have it now.
We have it now.
That was good.
Yeah, so that's about it, right?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Post-holiday weekend.
So much fun. I love the feel of this weekend. It just feels festive and fun.
I know it does, right?
I love it.
We went for 2 hours today. You know that?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Thanks for hanging in there with us, guys. That was so much fun.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. This Monday, is this the Monday that we have a double interview?
Yes, this coming Monday.
Yeah, so we have a double interview because we were supposed to have Adam Bergstrom on last Monday, but our power went out, so we couldn't do it. And so we're going to be doing a double interview this Monday.
Yeah, who do we have 9 o'clock a.m.?
I don't know who we have 9 a.m. Let's see. I think on the calendar, let's see. We have Reed Davis.
Okay. Do you know what talking about?
I don't know. Let's see.
We have some catch up to do here.
Yeah, we'll have to do some, but we got a good.
So we have back to back. We have 9 o'clock with Reed Davis, and then 11 with Adam Bergstrom.
I think 11 or 11:30 with Adam Bergstrom. I got to put that on the calendar, but
okay.
But yeah,
yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited about those double shows.
All kinds of good stuff going on.
All kinds of good stuff.
Yes.
We love you guys. This was so encouraging, and everybody in the chat room. I'm super inspired by you guys, and thank you for sharing your honesty with what's going on in your lives. I can't thank you guys enough for just opening your lives to us too, because I know we put ourselves out there, but the emails and the things in the chat room that we get back are really, I don't know, so much encouraging that we keep doing this, and it's just completely worth it. So everybody hang in there, and we pray for everybody, and just know that we love you guys, and just keep on your journey, and that there's always hope. That's the message I feel like I need to tell people today. There's just always hope.
There's always hope. Yeah.
There's always hope.
No matter what your health condition, there's always hope.
Yes.
I believe that. You got to believe that.
You got to believe it.
You got to believe that because it's true, but you also have to believe it just because it helps your healing process.
Yes. And the right doors are open for you as you journey. I think people who really, really want the healing are the ones that are in the neatest place. I really do.
And next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about my meditation practice I've been doing every day, which has been really cool.
Well, hopefully by the time we get to that, I will have actually had a little bit more of a meditation practice.
Yeah, well,
and I can talk about my experience this week. I have a lot to do this week.
And I also been doing some health protocols that I've been sort of sticking to very succinctly and very in a discipline-like way. So I'll talk about those next week as well.
Sweet.
Some things, there's really simple things you could do every single day to improve your health and to allow your organs to work better, and just really, really great things. So,
I'm looking forward to that.
We'll talk about those next week. It takes literally like 30 seconds to do.
Oh.
I've been doing 3 different ones, and so we'll talk about that next week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You have me hanging. Cliffhanger.
Very, very powerful things you could do.
Cool.
All right. So join us on Monday, extremehealthradio.com/live. And this is episode 345. So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/345, we'll have the show notes for you there with all the links. And then don't forget to pass this show on to your friends. And if you can do us a favor, I know we ask this a lot, but it really does help us. Please, please, please go over to iTunes and leave us a review. We'd so very much greatly appreciate that. If you go to extremehealthradio.com/iTunes, I think you have to open up the program. Go there, type Extreme Health Radio in the search bar, all one word, and then you can leave us a rating and review and subscribe to us on there. And that would be really, really helpful. So please do that if you can.
Yeah, thanks you guys for stepping it up and doing a lot of that. That's really, really, we've seen the difference and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a great way to give back to us and all that. And if you guys are looking for any deals and you happen to catch this during Black Friday 2014, if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Black Friday, lots of good deals on there for the Bellicon, for the Vitamix blenders, for juicers, the sauna, Qigong, the laser, Truth About Cancer, all kinds of cool stuff on there. So some good deals on Black Friday. So don't forget to check that out, right?
Yay, yeah.
And I think that's
Everyone loves a good deal. I love Black Friday.
Yeah, totally.
Maggie knows it's time. She knows when we're wrapping up. She's trying to jump up on me to get her treat.
Oh, she's so cute.
Did you get a treat? Oh, the ears and the eyes went up.
She's getting a treat. She knows that word.
Because she works so hard at this.
This has been laying.
She gets to lay on the biomat.
Hilarious. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate, like Kate said, every one of you.
We do. We love you.
And we appreciate it so much. Okay, everybody. Have a great weekend. And
you're looking at me. We will catch you guys on the next episode.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
That was so good.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical